Soft and delicate meringues with the gritty filling, macarons are able to test even the best pastry chefs. But today, in GialloZafferano kitchen, I will tell you all my secrets. Macaron, let's begin. Let's start preparing the shells. Icing sugar, almond flour. Let's take a whisk and mix the two powders that together form the TPT. The French call it tant pour tant. It means equal weight of icing sugar and almond flour. We take our liquid egg white and insert it into the TPT. If we want to make colored macarons, we can add the water-soluble powder color that dissolves in the water inside the liquid egg white. Now we take water and sugar to make our syrup. I always recommend to put the water first and then the sugar. We turn our stove on. We take the egg white, we put it in the planetary, and when our syrup starts to simmer, we turn the planetary on. When our syrup has reached 118 degrees, we will pour it slowly over the whipped egg white. An important thing when pouring the syrup, slow down the laps of the mixer, because otherwise it would hit the whisk and splash on the walls, and the syrup that gets stuck on the walls does not go into the albumen, and then it would lose its own structure. The texture is shiny. See the stability of the egg white. I'm going to incorporate the egg white to the first dough. The whipped egg white must be put in 3 times inside the hardest compound. This is a rule that applies not only to macaron, but to the whole bakery in general. The softer mounted dough always into the harder one, never the opposite. Now we proceed with the real macaronage, so it takes a lot of energy to give an elastic and shine texture to the dough. It must be stringy and stick to the spatula. Macaronage is exactly that, to rub the dough, making it shiny and elastic. I can transfer the dough inside the piping bag, and I can shape my macaroons, and we can do them freehand.
My heart beats faster at the very thought of you. Je t'aime Paris, je t'aime Paris. Like so many others, I've fallen for you.
Now the traditional method requires 30 minutes of rest to let a crust form over the macaron, and grant perfect smoothness in cooking. Didn't notice any difference even if I bake them right away, so let's go to the oven. I will cook them in a static oven at 150 degrees for about 15-18 minutes. Obviously this varies based on how many baking trays you put in the oven and the type of oven that you know very well. Now that the macarons are in the oven, we can take care of the white chocolate and vanilla ganache. We take the pan, the cream, We extract the pulp from the vanilla pod by cutting it across. I'll open the vanilla pod. The one inside is the pulp of puree, and then important, with the back of the knife, not with the blade, we extract it, scraping, but not too much, so as not to extract the filaments from the pot. Let's go to the stove, turn it on. I'll bring the cream to the boil, average power. Meanwhile, we take the immersion blender to emulsify. The white chocolate must be chopped inside a container high and tight enough to facilitate the emulsion and not let air inside. The cream is boiling, and we pour it 3 times on the chopped white chocolate. We immediately start emulsifying with the immersion blender. Insert the softened butter inside our ganache and keep going with emulsion. The ganache is ready. I leave it to crystallize in the refrigerator at 4 degrees for 2 hours, covered with cling film. Macaron shells are cold. I transferred the ganache inside the piping bag. Now we are going to flip some of the shells the one in front will be turned upside down. We start frosting with our ganache. The most important thing in macarons is the stuffing. It must be well drenched and abundant. It must be 1/3 of the weight of the macaron itself. My interpretation of macaron is called macaral, which is the union of macaron, and ral, which is the scale of international colors. We close by placing the shell on top of the ganache. I continue with the others, and I will let them rest in the fridge for at least 6 hours. One last secret to spot a good macaron is not to perceive the edge between the stuffing and the shell. Now that you know the secrets of this recipe, you can go crazy with all the variants you want. To the next recipe.